So hi guys, and welcome to another crucial Python tutorial video. I actually meant to do this a couple days ago, right after I did the video on for loops, but I had some pre-calculus homework to do. So I'm doing it now instead. Okay, so in the prior video I went over for loops, which in that video I went over how to iterate through lists and all that kinds of cool stuff. So there's another type of loop called a while loop. Now, while the for loop works as it does for each item in list, it goes through a new iteration. How a while loop works is it continues to iterate through until the condition is met. So let's start to do some examples. Okay, so I'm going to start off with declaring a variable called I and set it equal to 1. And we're going to use this keyword while. We're going to say while I is less than 5. I plus equals 1, and then we're going to print I. Okay, cool. So basically what this program does is it starts with setting I equal to 1, and while I is less than 5, it goes through and it increments I by 1. So it goes through once, it loops through 2, goes through again, 3, and then 4 and 5. So hopefully you get a little bit of how that works. But let's do another one just to really get that concept. So let's create a variable this time called x, and we'll set x equal to 5. And we'll say while x is while x is less than, or say while x is greater than, we'll say 1, x minus equals 1, and then print x. Okay, cool. Let's just run that. Okay, and what that does is, I probably should have printed a space, but instead of adding, like our previous examples, we're subtracting. Now, let's say, for instance, we forget to subtract 1 or add 1. Well, if this loop keeps on going forever, then that's not a good thing. That's basically gonna cause our program to crash. So you don't want that to happen. Every time you want something to be happening, whether you're subtracting 1, or you're adding 1, or you could divide 1, anything. You could append to a list, whatever. But you have to be having some condition that eventually isn't true, because the while loops will continue until the condition is met. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're gonna move on to doing a while loop with this thing that's called a break statement. Now, a break statement is used to stop our while loop even if that condition is true. So let me write some code to show you what I mean. So let's create a variable called, nope, I already used I. I'm just gonna try to avoid using a variable that I've already used. We'll say we'll set e equal to 1, and we'll say while e is less than, we'll just say less than 5 again, and we'll say print e, and then let's say if e is equal to 4, okay, we want to break out of that loop. And then we'll say, I don't know, e plus equals 1. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's just notice what's happening here. Once e is equal to 4, it breaks out of this loop. Okay? So we start off with, we're starting off with, hang on, let me just bring this up. I really should have done spaces, my bad. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, great. Okay, so there we go. And then, wait, actually, I'm gonna demonstrate something. Let's make this 2. Okay, So I guess this makes it a little bit easier to see. But when e is equal to 2, it completely breaks out of that loop. This right here does not get executed. After your break statement, your loop is essentially over. So after your break statement, don't include any code after that, because it's not going to be part of your while loop. Okay, cool. So basically with the break statement, you can stop the loop even if the while condition is true. Okay, so now let's do something that's kind of the opposite of our break statement. So I'm just gonna copy that, paste it down here. Okay. I'm gonna actually make some changes to this. We're going to kind of starting to lose my voice. We're gonna increment. We're gonna start off with e equal to 0, and we're gonna do again while e is less than 5. E plus equals 1. But instead of breaking, we're going to say continue, and then we're going to print e. Okay, cool. Let's run this. Whoa. Okay. So, what is that continue statement doing? It's continuing to the next iteration if I is equal to 3. So that's why this, if e is equal to 2, it's continuing to that, I don't know what I was looking at. It's continuing to that next iteration. So that's why it is just constantly going through and incrementing 1. Okay, so again, basically what the continue statement does is it stops the current iteration and then it will continue with the next iteration. So what else could I do? Oh, okay, so for maybe kind of a harder example, let's combine some concepts that we've already gone through in our previous videos. So if you guys remember, we did these things called conditional statements, which basically are if and else statements to check if a condition is false. So, how about for a challenge you guys do this? How about we can just run a loop like this, only when the loop is kind of done executing, you can print a message once the condition is false. Okay, so I went through and I created this example that I explained before, and the reason I'm doing this in a different file is because the other one from the continue statement was stuck in an infinite loop. So that's what. So basically, what I did is I just copied the list. I just copied this while loop that we had before, and at the end, I just added this else statement that says print I is no longer less than 5. So I'll just run this for you guys. Sorry, this is just from my previous video. But anyway, it goes like that, and then when we get to the point, it says I is no longer less than 5. Awesome, that's what we wanted to happen. Cool. Okay, so after watching this video, you guys should know now what while loops are, how to use them, and I think in my next video, we're probably going to go over either object-oriented programming or the map function or the filter function in Python. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and see ya.